Senior Communications Officer Han Ta-won rubbed his tired eyes as the blue glow of multiple screens lit up his face in the dimly lit control room of the Lunar Deep Space Monitoring Station. The quiet hum of equipment and soft beeping of monitors filled the air as he performed his routine signal analysis. After 15 years at this post, he had grown accustomed to the endless stream of cosmic background radiation and random space noise. But tonight was different. As he adjusted the frequency bands, an unusual pattern caught his attention. At first, he thought it was just another glitch in the system. The signal appeared in perfect intervals, too structured to be natural phenomena. His heart began to race as he ran it through the standard analysis protocols. The pattern repeated itself with mathematical precision, a series of pulses that couldn't possibly be random. His fingers flew across the holographic keyboard, applying various decoding algorithms. With each passing minute, his excitement grew. After all these years of searching the stars, could this finally be it? "Director Park," he called out, keeping his voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through his veins. "You really need to see this." Director Park Ji-min looked up from her desk across the monitoring station. She had been reviewing the monthly reports, but something in Taiwan's voice made her pause. In 15 years, she had never heard that tone from him. She walked over to his station, her footsteps echoing in the quiet room. "What have you found?" she asked, leaning over his shoulder to study the displays. "The signal appeared about 20 minutes ago," Taiwan explained, pointing to the scrolling data. "It's using universal mathematical constants as a base. Prime numbers, pi, the golden ratio. But there's more embedded in the pattern. Look at this." He pulled up a secondary analysis screen. The decoded signal revealed complex patterns that looked almost like language. Director Park's expression changed from mild interest to intense concentration as she studied the data. "Have you run a full spectrum analysis?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "Yes, Director. It's not coming from any known human source. I've checked it against all our satellite networks, deep space probes, and colonial transmissions. This is something entirely new." Director Park straightened up, her mind racing through protocols that had existed for decades but had never been used. "Get me a direct line to Earth Command," she ordered. "And wake up the linguistics team. All of them." As Ta-won sent out the emergency alerts, more staff began filtering into the control room, drawn by the unusual activity. The signal continued its steady pulse, growing stronger with each passing minute. Within 2 hours, the station was buzzing with activity. The linguistics team, led by Dr. Kim Soo-jin, worked frantically to decode the more complex patterns within the signal. Earth Command had patched in a direct feed, and military observers watched silently as the team worked. "The mathematical constants are just the beginning," Dr. Kim announced, her voice trembling with excitement. "They're using them as a primer, a way to establish basic communication. But the secondary patterns, they're a message." The room fell silent as she pulled up the preliminary translation on the main screen. The words were simple, direct, and chilling. "Help. Under attack. Multiple colonies lost. Time running out." "It's a distress call," Director Park said softly. "We're receiving a distress call from an alien civilization." Earth Command quickly established an emergency protocol, and within hours, verification teams from every major space agency were analyzing the signal. As the sun rose over the lunar surface, casting long shadows across the station's dome, the impossible truth became undeniable. Humanity had made first contact, and it had come in the form of a desperate plea for help. Ta-won sat back in his chair, still monitoring the signal as chaos erupted around him. After 15 years of searching the stars for signs of intelligent life, he had finally found it. But instead of the celebration he had always imagined, he felt a deep sense of responsibility. Somewhere out there, an alien civilization was fighting for survival, and they had reached out to Earth as their last hope. As the station continued to buzz with activity, Director Park placed a hand on Ta-won's shoulder. "Good work," she said quietly. Now the real challenge begins. The signal continued its steady pulse, a reminder that somewhere in the vast darkness of space, someone was waiting for Earth's response. The question now wasn't whether alien life existed. It was what humanity would do to help them. The Grand United Earth Council chamber in Geneva buzzed with nervous energy as hundreds of global leaders filled the ancient hall. Sunlight streamed through the tall windows, catching dust motes in golden beams as representatives from every nation took their seats. The room's usual calm atmosphere had given way to tense whispers and worried glances. Admiral Kim Dewey stood at the central podium, his decorated uniform gleaming under the lights. He had spent the entire night reviewing the translated alien messages with his team, and dark circles rimmed his eyes. But his posture remained straight, his voice clear and steady as he addressed the assembly. "Distinguished council members," he began, "what I am about to share will change the course of human history." He gestured, and holographic displays materialized above the chamber floor, showing the signal data and translations. The distress call we received contains detailed information about an ongoing conflict. An aggressive species has attacked multiple colonies belonging to a peaceful civilization. 3 entire worlds have already been destroyed, their populations either eliminated or scattered. Gasps and murmurs filled the chamber. Admiral Kim waited for the noise to settle before continuing. "Our deep space tracking has located the source of the signal. It originates from a star system approximately 40 light-years from Earth. Thanks to our recent breakthroughs in quantum drive technology, we can reach them in just 3 weeks." Council leader Lee Sun-mai rose from her seat, her elegant traditional hanbok standing out among the sea of formal suits. She had led the council through numerous crises, but nothing had prepared her for this moment. "For centuries, we have prepared protocols for first contact," she said, her voice carrying clearly through the chamber. "We created detailed plans for peaceful meetings, trade negotiations, and cultural exchanges. Never did we imagine our first contact would come as a desperate cry for help." The weight of her words settled over the assembly. Humanity had long dreamed of meeting alien civilizations, but not like this. Not with the lives of countless beings hanging in the balance. "There is more to consider," Admiral Kim continued, his expression grave. "The message contains another crucial piece of information. These beings are aware of Earth's existence, but they have deliberately avoided contact with us until now." He paused, letting his next words sink in. "They classify Earth as what they call a death world, a planet with conditions so extreme that they consider it too hazardous for their species to survive here." The council chamber erupted in surprised conversations. Representatives turned to their neighbors, discussing this revelation in dozens of languages. The very planet that humans called home was considered a death trap by advanced alien civilizations. "Our gravity is stronger than what they consider safe," Admiral Kim explained over the noise. "Our atmospheric pressure, temperature ranges, and background radiation levels all exceed their survival parameters. What we consider normal living conditions, they view as extremely dangerous." Council leader Lee raised her hand for silence. "And yet, here we stand," she said thoughtfully. "We have not just survived these conditions, we have thrived in them. We have built civilizations, developed technology, and now reach for the stars." A quiet understanding began to spread through the chamber. What had seemed like a disadvantage suddenly appeared in a new light. Humans were naturally adapted to conditions that other species found lethal. Admiral Kim nodded. "The very factors that kept them from contacting us might now make us uniquely qualified to help them. Our ships are built to withstand conditions far more extreme than what we might encounter. Our bodies can endure situations that would incapacitate their species." "But are we ready?" asked a representative from the African Union. "Do we have the right to intervene in an alien conflict? Can we afford not to?" countered another from South America. "If we ignore this call for help, what does that say about humanity?" Council leader Lee raised her hands for attention. "We have always wondered if we were alone in the universe," she said. "Now we know we are not, And our first act as part of the galactic community cannot be to turn our backs on those in need. Admiral Kim straightened. If the Council approves, we can have a response fleet ready within days. Our best ships, our finest crews, all prepared to make history. The chamber fell silent as Council Leader Lee called for a vote. One by one, hands raised across the chamber. The decision was clear. Humanity would answer the call. As the council session ended, Admiral Kim gathered his materials, his mind already racing with preparation plans. A hand touched his arm, and he turned to find Council Leader Lee beside him. "Admiral," she said quietly, "make sure our response shows them what humanity truly is. Not just our strength, but our compassion." He nodded solemnly. "Yes, Madam Leader. We'll show them that Earth's harsh conditions didn't just make us strong. They made us determined to protect those who cannot protect themselves." The massive form of the UES sanctuary hung in low Earth orbit, its silver hull reflecting the blue glow of the planet below. At nearly 2 kilometers long, the warship represented the pinnacle of human engineering and determination. Its smooth lines and powerful weapons arrays spoke of both beauty and strength, a testament to humanity's readiness to face the unknown. Captain Choi Min-ho's boots clicked against the polished deck as he made his final inspection rounds. After 20 years in the Space Force, he still marveled at the ship's corridors with their subtle curve designed to create artificial gravity through rotation. Crew members snapped to attention as he passed, their faces showing a mixture of pride and nervous excitement. Commander Yoon Hana appeared at his side, falling into step with practiced ease. Her crisp uniform and alert expression matched the ship's ready status. "Engineering reports the quantum drives are operating at full capacity," she said, checking her datapad. "They've completed the final calibration tests." "And medical?" Captain Choi asked, pausing to inspect a bank of environmental controls. "Dr. Park has stocked the medical bay with everything we might need for alien physiologies. The automated systems can synthesize a wide range of treatments. The environmental systems are also ready to adapt to any atmosphere we might encounter." They entered a turbolift, rising toward the bridge. Through the transparent walls, they could see the vast cargo bays where supplies and emergency resources were stored. "How are the crew handling it?" Choi asked quietly. "They're focused, sir. Nervous, but ready. We've trained for first contact scenarios. But this..." She shook her head. No one expected it to be a rescue mission. The bridge doors slid open silently, revealing a hub of activity. Officers worked at their stations, running final checks on ship systems. Through the main viewport, they could see the other 5 ships of their battle group: the Defender, Guardian, Protector, Sentinel, and Shield. Each vessel represented a different aspect of human ingenuity, from the heavily armored Defender to the swift and agile Sentinel. "Status report," Captain Choi called out as he took his command chair. "All systems green," reported Lieutenant Kim from Tactical. "Weapon systems primed but secured. Shields at maximum capacity. Navigation plotted and locked," added Ensign Lee. "Quantum jump calculations verified 3 times." Commander Yoon took her station beside the captain. "Each ship in the battle group has reported ready status. Crews are at their posts. We're just waiting for final launch clearance from Earth Command." Captain Choi studied the main display, where the flight path to their destination glowed in 3-dimensional detail. 40 light years. Just 3 weeks ago, such a journey would have seemed impossible. Now, thanks to the quantum drives, they would cross that distance in less than a month. The communication system chimed. "UES Sanctuary, this is Earth Command. You are cleared for launch. Operation Helping Hand is now active. Good luck and Godspeed." Captain Choi pressed the ship-wide communication button. "All hands, this is the captain. In a few moments, we will make history, not just as the first humans to travel this far into space, but as the first to answer a call for help from another civilization. Every one of you was chosen for this mission because you represent the best of humanity. Whatever we find out there, I know you'll make Earth proud." He nodded to Commander Yoon, who began the launch sequence. Throughout the ship, crew members secured their stations. In engineering, the quantum drives hummed to life, their distinctive sound building to a crescendo. All ships report ready for quantum jump, Commander Hume announced. Captain Choi took a deep breath. This was the moment everything would change. Take us out, Commander. Jump on my mark. The stars visible through the viewport seemed to brighten as the quantum drives reached full power. The other ships of the battle group moved into formation, their own drives creating a beautiful light show against the darkness of space. 3, 2, 1. Mark. Reality shifted around them as the quantum drives engaged. The familiar stars of Earth's sky stretched and twisted, replaced by the strange patterns of quantum space. They were on their way to answer humanity's first interstellar distress call. As the ship settled into its journey, Captain Choi looked around his bridge. Every face showed determination and purpose. They had trained for years to handle the unknown, to operate in extreme conditions that other species found lethal. Now those very abilities might help them save lives. Status of the fleet, he asked. All ships maintaining formation in quantum space, Commander Hume reported. Defender reports their new crew is adapting well to the quantum transition. Guardian and Protector are running sensor sweeps of the surrounding space. Sentinel and Shield are maintaining their protective positions. Captain Choi nodded, satisfied. Whatever waited for them, 40 light-years away, they were as ready as they could be. Humanity's first steps into the galactic community would be guided not by fear or aggression, but by the desire to help those in need. The quantum drive's hum faded as the UES Sanctuary and its escort fleet emerged into normal space. The peaceful transition lasted only seconds before the bridge crew gasped at the scene before them. The star system blazed with weapons fire and explosions, painting the void in deadly colors. Tactical Officer Kang Dae-sung's fingers flew across his console as data flooded in. Multiple contacts, Captain. I count 15 large vessels with crystalline structures. They'd matched the aggressor descriptions from the distress signal. Smaller ships, approximately 30 in number, appear to be the defenders. Through the main viewport, Captain Choi watched as the crystalline ships, each nearly 3 times the size of the sanctuary, fired brilliant beams of energy at the smaller vessels. The defender ships moved with incredible grace, weaving between the attacks like schools of fish evading predators. Analysis of defender ships, Commander Hume called out. Their hulls show signs of extensive damage. They're running on minimal power. Life support systems appear to be failing on at least 5 vessels. Captain Choi stood from his command chair, his voice steady as he gave orders. Battle stations, raise shields. Lieutenant Kim, open a channel to all ships in the system. The communication officer nodded, and Captain Choi spoke clearly into the open channel. This is Captain Choi Min-ho of the United Earth Fleet. We are responding to a distress call. Attacking forces, cease fire immediately. For a moment, the space battle seemed to pause as both sides registered the arrival of the unexpected human fleet. The crystalline ships turned their massive forms toward the Earth vessels, their surfaces reflecting starlight in mesmerizing patterns. The response came swiftly, not in words, but in the form of searing energy beams directed at the sanctuary. The bridge crew tensed, but years of drills kept them at their posts. The attacks splashed harmlessly against the ship's shields, creating ripples of blue light. Shields holding at 98%, reported Lieutenant Park from the engineering station. Their weapons are powerful, but our defensive technology is more advanced than they expected. Commander Hume leaned close to Captain Choi. Sir, the defender ships are regrouping behind us. They seem to recognize we're here to help. Captain Choi nodded. Send authentication codes to the defender fleet. Let them know we received their distress call. Tactical. Analyze those crystalline ships. I want to know their weaknesses. Officer Kang's analysis came quickly. The crystalline structures appear to be their power source. Sir, highly efficient, but potentially fragile under the right conditions. Their weapon systems leave them exposed for 2.3 seconds between firing cycles. Signal the battle group. Captain Choi ordered. Defender and Guardian, move to protect the damaged alien ships. Sentinel and Shield, take flanking positions. Protector, stay on our wing. We're going to show these aggressors that attacking a peaceful species was a serious mistake. The Earth ships moved with precision that seemed to surprise both alien forces. The defending aliens, seeing the human fleet's protective formation, began to coordinate their movements with the Earth vessels. Sir, Commander Yoon reported, we're receiving a transmission from one of the defender ships. Audio only, running through translation matrix. A musical voice filled the bridge, translated into clear English. Earth vessels, we are the Arini. We thank you for answering our call. We did not expect. We did not know your kind would come. We're here to help, Captain Choi responded. Can your ships retreat to safety while we handle the attackers? Our engines are damaged. We cannot. The transmission cut off as more energy beams lanced out from the crystalline ships. This time, they focused their fire on the sanctuary, presumably identifying it as the command vessel. Captain Choi's expression hardened as the attacks continued to dissipate against their shields. They're not going to listen to reason. Officer Kang, target their weapon systems during their recharge cycle. Lieutenant Kim, signal the fleet. Coordinated attack pattern Delta 3. The Earth fleet moved as one, years of training evident in their synchronized maneuvers. The Sanctuary's weapons found their mark, precision strikes hitting the crystalline ships exactly when they were most vulnerable. Two of the massive vessels shuddered as their weapon systems went dark. Sir, Commander Yoon reported with a hint of satisfaction, the attacking fleet is falling back. They're regrouping at the edge of the system. They've never encountered shields they couldn't break, Officer Kang added. Our technology, designed to withstand the extreme conditions near Earth, is beyond their experience. Captain Choi watched as the crystalline ships retreated further, their formation showing signs of confusion. Send another message, he ordered. Tell them we're willing to discuss peaceful resolution, but we will not allow them to continue attacking innocent worlds. As the message was transmitted, the defender ships, the Arini vessels, moved closer to the Earth fleet. Their graceful forms seemed to dance in space as they took up protective positions alongside their unexpected saviors. Another transmission from the Arini. Sir, Lieutenant Kim announced. The musical voice returned, filled with what sounded like awe. You travel through space in conditions we find lethal. You withstand attacks that would destroy our strongest ships. We avoided Earth because we feared its harsh environment, never imagining it would produce protectors such as you. Captain Choi smiled slightly. Sometimes the most challenging conditions produce the strongest allies. Let's get your ships repaired, and then we can discuss how to prevent these attacks from happening again. The bridge crew worked steadily as repair operations began, but each of them felt the weight of the moment. Humanity's first contact with alien life had become something none of them expected. A rescue mission that proved Earth's harsh conditions had prepared them not just to survive, but to protect others who couldn't protect themselves. The battle unfolded across the star system like a deadly dance. The UES Sanctuary led the Earth fleet in a coordinated attack that demonstrated centuries of human military evolution. The crystalline ships, despite their size and power, found themselves outmaneuvered at every turn. Target their power core, Captain Choi ordered as the Sanctuary swept past one of the massive alien vessels. Time your shots with their weapon discharge. Officer Kang executed the order perfectly. The Sanctuary's weapons struck just as the crystalline ship released another energy beam, catching it at its most vulnerable moment. Cracks appeared in its gleaming surface, spreading like spider webs across its hull. Engineering, status report, Commander Yoon called out as their ship shuddered under a glancing hit. All systems normal, came the reply. The radiation from their weapons is actually less intense than what we deal with in Earth orbit. Our shields are barely stressed. The battle continued to demonstrate the surprising advantages of Earth's harsh environment. The human ships, built to withstand crushing pressures and extreme conditions, shrugged off attacks that would have crippled most alien vessels. Look at their formations, Officer Kang noted, pointing to the tactical display. They're trying to trap us in high-gravity zones near the system's gas giant. Captain Choi almost smiled. They don't realize our ships are designed to operate in gravity fields twice that strong. Helm, take us into the gas giant's gravity well. Let's show them what a Deathworlder ship can do. The Sanctuary dove toward the massive planet, its engines expertly compensating for the increasing gravitational pull. 3 crystalline ships followed, expecting to trap the Earth vessel. Instead, they watched in apparent shock as the Sanctuary performed complex maneuvers that should have torn any ship apart. Guardian reports successful defense of the Arini medical ships. Commander Yum announced. Defender and Shield have disabled the weapons on 2 more enemy vessels. No casualties on our side. Through the viewport, they could see the crystalline ships struggling to maintain their positions in the higher gravity. Their once precise formation began to break apart as they realized their tactical error. They're not used to fighting in these conditions, Officer Kang observed. Their ships are designed for open space, not natural hazards. Captain Choi nodded. Signal the fleet. Execute Maneuver Omega. Let's use that against them. The Earth ships moved in perfect synchronization, herding the enemy fleet toward the gas giant's turbulent atmosphere. The crystalline ships tried to break free, but found themselves caught between the planet's gravitational pull and the precise fire of the Earth fleet. Sir, Lieutenant Kim called out, we're picking up emergency signals from 3 enemy vessels. Their structural integrity is failing under the gravitational stress. Sanctuary to all ships, Captain Choi broadcast. Offer assistance to any vessel that surrenders. We're here to stop the fighting, not destroy them. The gesture seemed to shock the attackers even more than the humans' combat capabilities. 2 crystalline ships immediately powered down their weapons, signaling surrender. Others began to retreat, their formations completely broken. Inside the sanctuary, the crew worked efficiently despite conditions that would have incapacitated most alien species. The ship's artificial gravity, set to Earth normal, would have crushed most of their opponents. The background radiation levels, standard for human ships, exceeded what most species considered safe. They're retreating from the Guardian's vector, Commander Yoon reported, watching another enemy vessel flee. Long-range sensors show them regrouping at the system's edge. The remains of the battle drifted around them, disabled ships, weapons debris, and the scattered remnants of what had been a powerful attacking force. The Earth fleet had proven itself beyond any doubt. Signal from the Arini flagship, Lieutenant Kim announced. They're asking permission to send a representative aboard. Captain Choi straightened his uniform. Grant permission, but warn them about our environmental conditions. Have medical standing by to provide them with support equipment. The bridge crew watched as the last of the crystalline ships vanished into quantum space, retreating from the system they had hoped to conquer. What they had found instead was a force they never expected. Humans, the Deathworlders, who turned their harsh evolution into a shield for others. Damage report, Captain Choi asked. Minor hull stress on decks 3 and 4, Commander Yoon replied. Nothing our repair crews can't handle. The fleet reports similar, superficial damage only. These ships were built for worse conditions than anything they threw at us. As the Sanctuary moved to dock with the Arini vessel, Captain Choi reflected on the battle's significance. Humanity's first major engagement with alien forces had proven not just their military capability, but also their fundamental nature. They had fought not for conquest or revenge, but to protect those who needed help. Prepare for first direct contact with the Arini, he announced to his crew. Remember, what's normal for us is extremely dangerous for them. Let's show them that Earth's challenges haven't just made us strong. They've made us understanding of others' limitations. The battle was over, but its implications would echo across the galaxy. The species that had avoided Earth as too dangerous now saw those same conditions as the source of their salvation. The Deathworlders had become the defenders, turning their adaptations into a shield for all peaceful species. The sanctuary's diplomatic chamber had been carefully prepared for the historic meeting. Environmental controls hummed as they maintained conditions safe for their alien guests. Ambassador Nam Yuri stood calmly, watching as the AN delegation entered wearing protective suits that sparkled with technology. The lead Aeon representative moved with fluid grace despite the protective gear. Their form was tall and slender, with iridescent skin visible through transparent sections of their suit. The translator devices floated between them like small stars. "Welcome aboard the sanctuary," Ambassador Nam said warmly. "We've adjusted this chamber's conditions as much as our systems allow for your comfort." The Aeon representative's translator chimed softly. "Even with these modifications, your ship's environment would be lethal to us within minutes without protection. The gravity alone." There was a pause as the alien studied the human delegation. "Yet you stand here, completely at ease." Ambassador Nam nodded. "What seems extreme to you is perfectly normal for us. Earth's gravity is actually stronger than what we maintain on our ships." The Aeon delegation exchanged glances through their protective visors. Their movements showed a mixture of awe and unease as they settled into specially designed chairs. "We have known of Earth for centuries," the lead representative continued. "Our long-range surveys identified it as a death world, a planet so hostile that we assumed no intelligent life could evolve there. The radiation levels alone should prevent complex life. Yet here we are," Ambassador Nam said with a gentle smile. "Those very conditions shaped us, made us adaptable. What you see as barriers, we see as challenges to overcome." The diplomatic team had set up displays showing Earth's conditions compared to Aeon standard environments. The differences were stark. Earth's gravity was nearly twice what the Aeon considered safe. Its atmospheric pressure would crush them. Even the background radiation levels humans lived with daily exceeded their safety limits. "When we received your distress call," Ambassador Nam explained, "we didn't hesitate. Our ships were built to handle conditions far more extreme than what we encountered in the battle." One of the Aeon scientists in the delegation stepped forward. "Your vessel's ability to operate in the gas giant's gravity well was extraordinary. Our studies suggest your species can survive conditions that would kill most known spacefaring races." "It's true," Ambassador Nam acknowledged. "But what matters more is how we choose to use these abilities. We came not to conquer or dominate, but to help." The lead Aeon representative's translator chimed with what seemed like emotion. "For centuries, we feared your world would produce monsters, creatures adapted to violence and destruction. Instead, you have shown us that harsh conditions can forge protectors." The meeting continued as they discussed the broader implications of humanity's entrance into galactic society. The Aeon shared data about other spacefaring races, most of whom evolved on worlds far more gentle than Earth. "Your ships," another Aeon delegate observed, "they're designed to withstand conditions that would tear our vessels apart. Even your civilian vessels must be incredibly robust." Ambassador Nam activated a holographic display showing Earth's space development. "We had to overcome many challenges to reach the stars. Every solution we developed made us stronger, more resilient." The lead Aeon raised an appendage in what their cultural briefing had indicated was a sign of respect. "We see now that we were wrong to avoid contact. Your species' adaptations don't make you dangerous. They make you uniquely suited to protect others. That's our hope," Ambassador Nam responded. "Earth's conditions taught us not just survival, but empathy. We understand what it means to face overwhelming challenges. Perhaps that's why we couldn't ignore your call for help." As the meeting drew to a close, the Aeon delegation prepared to return to their ship. The lead representative paused at the chamber's entrance. "We have a saying," the translator chimed. "The strongest metals are forged in the hottest fires." We never understood its true meaning until today. Ambassador Nam bowed slightly. "On Earth, we say that adversity builds character. Our planet's challenges didn't just make us strong. They taught us the importance of helping others." The diplomatic team watched as the Aeon delegation departed, their protective suits gleaming under the ship's lights. What had begun as a rescue mission was becoming something more. The foundation of an alliance based on understanding and mutual respect. Later, in her private quarters, Ambassador Nam recorded her report for Earth Command. The Aeon's fear of Earth's conditions led them to underestimate humanity's potential, she noted. But in doing so, they also failed to see how those very conditions would shape our character. We didn't just learn to survive. We learned to protect those who cannot protect themselves. She looked out her viewport at the distant stars, knowing that humanity's role in the galaxy would never be the same. They were no longer just Deathworlders. They were guardians, ready to use their unique abilities to defend those in need. From the observation deck of the UES Sanctuary, Captain Choi and Commander Yoon watched the graceful dance of ships moving through space. The Aeon vessels, their sleek designs catching starlight, prepared for their journey home under the watchful eyes of Earth's fleet. The Battle of Aeon Space, Commander Yoon said quietly, breaking their comfortable silence. That's what they're calling it in the reports back home. The day humanity stepped onto the galactic stage, Captain Choi nodded, his eyes following a group of repair drones as they worked on a damaged Aeon ship. The crystalline attackers had withdrawn completely from the system, their defeat serving as a clear message about human capabilities. When I joined the Space Force, Commander Yoon continued, I never imagined our first major engagement would be defending an alien species that was too afraid to even visit Earth. They called us Deathworlders, she mused, watching an Earth shuttle dock with an Aeon vessel. They thought living on Earth was a limitation, a curse that would keep us isolated. They never considered it might be our greatest strength. Captain Choi turned to his longtime friend and officer. And now? Now they know. Earth's harsh conditions didn't just make us survivors. They made us guardians. Everything that made Earth dangerous to them made us perfect protectors. Through the viewport, they could see the Defender and Guardian taking up escort positions around the Aeon fleet. The ships that had seemed impossibly fragile during the battle were now under the protection of humanity's finest vessels. Earth Command just sent new orders, Captain Choi said, holding up his datapad. We're to establish a permanent presence in this sector. The Aeon have requested Earth's protection, and several other species have already reached out with similar requests. Commander Yoon smiled. From avoided to sought after in a matter of days. The galaxy is changing faster than anyone expected. News of the battle spread quickly through known space. The species that had once marked Earth as too dangerous for contact now saw those same conditions as the source of their salvation. Reports filtered in of other aggressive forces withdrawing from contested territories at the mere mention of human involvement. The Aeon ambassadors have proposed a formal alliance, Captain Choi continued, not just for protection, but for technological exchange. They want to learn how we built ships that can withstand such extreme conditions. And in return, they'll share their knowledge of the galaxy, help us understand the civilizations we might encounter. Their star maps alone could advance our exploration efforts by centuries. As they talked, more ships arrived in the system. Diplomatic vessels from other species, all eager to establish relations with the newly emerged human fleet. The observation deck's displays identified each new arrival, marking them as potential allies. Look at that. Commander Yoon pointed to a particularly elegant ship approaching. According to the database, they're from a system we thought was uninhabited. They'd been watching us too, waiting to see how we would use our strength. The weeks following the battle brought dramatic changes to human space. Earth's shipyards began adapting vessel designs to accommodate alien allies while maintaining the robust construction that made them so effective. Training programs were established to help other species understand how to work alongside humans in space. Humanity's first steps into the galactic community, Captain Choi reflected. Not as conquerors or victims, but as protectors. Commander Yoon placed a hand on the viewport's cool surface. We spent so long looking at the stars, wondering if we were alone. All that time, they were looking back, wondering if we could ever join them. As the sanctuary prepared to escort the Aeon fleet home, Its crew understood they were part of something historic. Earth's harsh environment had forged them into something unique, a species capable of thriving in conditions others found impossible, yet choosing to use that strength to defend rather than dominate. From the bridge, Captain Choi sent the order to begin the journey. The fleet moved in perfect formation, Earth ships and Aeon vessels together, marking the beginning of a new era in galactic history. The message was clear to all who witnessed it. Humanity had emerged from their death world, not as the monsters many feared, but as the guardians many needed. Their very existence proved that the harshest conditions could produce not just survivors, but protectors. As the fleet disappeared into quantum space, they carried with them the promise of a new future, one where Earth's strength would become a shield for all peaceful species in the galaxy. The Deathworlders had found their true purpose, not in spite of their origins, but because of them.